All right, day 3, fish extravaganza. Here we go. Back out on Lake Lanier. It's after noon. Definitely hard to get out of bed this morning. Rain was pounding this morning. Wind was howling. Temperatures dropped at least 10 degrees from yesterday. And so I was in no rush to get out here. But today's the last day of my kind of free weekend. Family's out of town, so I'm taking full advantage and fishing as much as possible. So gonna get out for a few hours today. Wind is really whipping out on the lake. Temperature's cold. Again, rain just passed through, hard rain just a few hours ago. We have another storm coming right behind it. I'm not anticipating that the fishing is going to be great, but that's life. You know, yesterday was awesome. I was out on Clark's Hill. Hopefully I get that video up. Had an absolute awesome day. Multi-species, hybrids, white bass, crappie, spotted bass, full day of catching. I've never had a day like that on the water ever. It was one of those dream days and it came true and it was awesome. So not expecting a ton today, but also not going to make any excuses. I'm going to make adjustments. Right, continuing on the troll across a shallow pond here. Just trolling some jigs and soft plastics on these rods, and I'm going to troll a small hard bait here, a little crankbait. I'll probably just switch this out throughout the day. I've got it weighted, and I'll just hopefully try to be able to manipulate it so it's going to be on the deep end side of wherever I'm going, or I'll just troll at a speed where I know this isn't going to get hung up or at a depth of water. Oh, we're getting hit here. Just to tap the bottom there. I don't feel like it's on anymore. I'm right in between a hump and a point, and this guy was getting hit. Nothing there. Anyway, that's the goal. Let's see what we can do. Oh, water temp is 55, 56 degrees, so considerably cooler than what I've been dealing with, or what I was dealing with yesterday. Air temp's also very cold, or cooler. It's probably 40 degrees, very windy. Air's a little bit wet, so it just feels, my hands are freezing already. But hey, we're fishing. It's fun. Alright, big bass. So I'm on the double jig rig, just trolling it. Looks like I made a double. Well, or a bounce at bottom. Oh, he got off. Get him hung up. He spit up some shad. Spit up a little threadfin shad about that big. See if I can circle back on her. Alright, that was an absolute cluster. Every single line was tangled. Then going to untangle, my hands are cold and wet. The jacket is bulky, so it was sticking to everything. Tight space. That took forever. Didn't lose anything, almost did, but got everything untangled. I wasted so much time not fishing, doing that. Came across that point, had a good sized spotted bass, kicked out a little shad as it was fighting towards the surface. It was a chunky spot too. So fish and bait on points. I'm seeing all kinds of brush back here. It's a good sign. Probably going to be a bassy kind of day, but all that to say, I will likely be switching up these black and chartreuse jigs for something a little more natural. If I had to guess, if I don't get bit on these black ones like I was at Clark's Hill, that's exactly the change I'm going to be making. The water clarity here is typical Lanier, awesome. Even after a rain, I think I picked an area of the lake that's probably a little bit less affected as far as turbidity after a rain. So it's, I mean, it's looking many feet worth of clarity here, so we'll probably need to switch to something more natural. But we'll see, stay tuned. I've seen some activity at the top, a couple fish busting here and there, just singles. I'm seeing small pockets here and there, small bait balls. Not very many marks back here, so I'm not really sure the fish are back here. In numbers anyway. A lot of birds back at the main lake area. It's just really windy up there and lots of bigger boats, even considering how nasty the weather is. So I'm gonna do a few passes back here, continue my trip back to the back of this creek arm, and then reassess. Might just be a short trip today. We shall see. Oh, yes sir. Stay on, baby. Slava lava ding dong. Choked it. Well, it's not a slab. He got it good. My pliers. Good one. So when I came back into the back of this pocket, a bass boat cut me off, came right in front of me, I mean within 10 feet, and said, sorry, I'm going to go ahead and cut you off so I can fish this brush pile. He proceeded to fish this area. I mean, I had to cut hard. I'm trolling 4 rods, and that's on me. I mean, I know my setup and it's how nimble or not I am, but the full acknowledgement, I mean, that was rude beyond rude. But it looked like he was like he knew right where that brush pile was. He came up on it in a hurry, fished it not very long at all, and got out of here. And it looked like he had a judge in the boat with him, so I guess there's a tournament or something going on. But I heard him say something about crappie when he was over here, about just fishing through a big school. He asked what I was fishing for, and I told him. And I overheard him talking to the other person in his boat about seeing crappie back here. So I'm heading back where he was, and I just caught one as I was kind of trolling past, making mental note of where he was when he was talking. That's when I hooked up with the crappie I got. So I know they're back here. I'm gonna try to get just a couple more for the stringer, and then keep an eye on this storm. It's been sprinkling on and off, starting to rain a little heavier, and I am not very close to the boat ramp, so, and it's cold. So we shall see, but hopefully I can get on some here and see exactly what he was talking about. Got a fish on, and I'm hung up. Oh, bass. Bass got off. That's fine. Need to get that rod off. Looking at the bass. That one was in way shallow, probably less than 4 feet of water. That's a bass. These guys are hitting. And then we caught up on my other one. So I changed up to this this natural shad pattern, minnow body with a curly tail, and I've just got it on just regular jig hook. It's a 1/16 ounce on that one, but I've got different sizes. But I've switched most of them over to some sort of natural pattern, and that now I'm starting to get bit. Bass, crappie, all of it. So it just seems like that's what they're wanting here today at this second. So that's good. Just keep on keeping on here. Alright. It's a better fish. Coming right across there. Ooh, boy howdy. Bunch of them right off to the left. That's what he was talking about. Yep, they're back. I see them now. So the more and more I'm getting hit, not just with bass, but now with crappie. Certainly when I have something on, even if it shakes off, but if I see the rod getting hit, I've started marking points, and now I'm starting to see, once again, these points are clustered. And I've got two distinct clusters, so now I'm just using the chart view, primarily using the chart view, and just going back and forth between those clusters of points and slow trolling around there and trying to maximize the bite before I have to go. We'll see if that pays off. Well, it's been a long time since the last bite. I'm going to go back over these cluster of points where I've just seen a ton of bait and what I suspect to be crappie, but they're just not biting. And then I'm going to start to slow troll my way back to the boat ramp. So hopefully we can pick up at least one more. Two on the stringer right now. I'd say that's, you know, barely worth getting the fillet knife 34. But considering I've got a lot of crappie that I filleted up last night from yesterday's trip, and I haven't quite yet put them in the freezer bag, they're still soaking in water. So I've got these two to add to that, so that's worth it. But honestly, if I didn't have those, these would be going back. Doubled. Nice. I'm gonna cross this point. Might be a bass. Jumping like a bass. Tugging like a bass. It's a bass. Little spotted bass, little guy. Hey. Alright. I'll do a few. I gotta get that other guy. Little one. See if you're still here. White bass or a little striper. There's a little striper. That's cool. Just hanging out on that point. Little guy, teeny little guy. Fun. So I gotta say, as I'm wrapping this up, turned out to be a, you know, given all the crap conditions, or at least that's what I thought going into it, this turned out to be a pretty decent day and pretty decent multi-species day. Got a spotted bass right off the bat that was pretty chunky, just couldn't get it to the boat. Then I got some crappie, just hooked up with another spotted bass, a small striper. Been rained on pretty much all day, at least lightly drizzled. It's been cold, windy, just monster rainstorm that came through and big temp drop. Just didn't think it would be good at all, and glad I came out for sure. Certainly didn't think I was going to when I woke up this morning, but what a great way to spend the day. Glad I did it, and just got a little bit more before I head back to the boat ramp. Got some brush right there. Well, this is how you get two trolling rods unhung when they're caught on the same brush pile.